Okay, now we're continuing in AUC section 300 related to planning an audit. And so in order to do that, we need to first do three things at the beginning of the current audit engagement. And that is to perform the procedures required by AUC section 220 related to the quality controls. We should also evaluate our compliance with relevant ethical requirements, which is also AUC section 220. And then we also need to establish the terms of the engagement with our client, and that's in AUC section 210. So this was a pretty easy requirement because we've already done these things, at least in our videos we have. So if you want to look at the specific rules of these AUC sections that it references here, you can go to the applicable video in our channel and watch these particular AUC sections. But we've got some explanatory material down here, so let's see what that says. Okay, so now we're down the explanatory material section. First, it says that the reason that we are performing each of these preliminary engagement activities is that it would identify and evaluate events or circumstances that may adversely affect our ability to plan and perform the audit engagement. So, for example, it helps us to maintain the necessary independence and our ability to perform the engagement. It helps us to have no issues with management's integrity that might affect our willingness to continue the engagement. And it also makes sure there's no misunderstanding with the entity about the terms of our engagement. So each of these things is really important for us to get a handle on before we begin the engagement, because if we don't, we could encounter problems down the road that could have been prevented from the outset, or we could have determined not to accept the engagement at all. So important preliminary engagement activities here. And of course, we need to keep all of these activities in mind as well as we go through the engagement. It's not just something that we perform at the beginning of the engagement and then leave alone. We always kind of keep these things in mind to make any changes as conditions or circumstances change throughout the engagement all the way to the end. So by looking at the independence or our ethical requirements and doing the client acceptance and evaluation at the beginning of the audit means that they are completed prior to the performance of other significant activities for the current audit engagement. So when they tell us that this is to be done at the beginning of the engagement, we need to adhere to that. We don't want to do these things later on after the significant pieces of the engagement, for instance, while we're doing field work, or worse, after we've gotten to the end of the audit. So in general, for continuing engagements, that means those that we did the audit for last year and we're doing the audit again this year, we might want to do these procedures shortly after the completion of the prior year's audit.